Watch out, welcome to a beautiful sunny Friday afternoon here in Hertfordshire. It's beautiful now, but the English weather is so weird. 2 hours ago it was snowing, last night it was snowing and hailstoning. Look at the garden now, it's beautiful. Only in England would you get these seasons. Anyway, today, quick video, I'm going to show you how to bleed a radiator. You may question why you need to bleed your radiators. Well, I know the UK is not on its own in the situation at the moment. Fuel prices have gone crazy, and today in the UK they announced that fuel bills, electricity, gas, etc. are going to go up by a staggering 50%. So what cost you £100 last month is going to cost you £150 next month. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm paying that amount of money, I want to make sure my radiators are working at 100% efficiency and not paying for the fuel to only be heating a bit of the house because it's full up of air and not water. So let me take you inside, show you how to bleed 3 different types of radiators and how to get tip-top performance from your radiators. Okay, the first thing you need to know is your radiators are filled up with water. It goes through your boiler and your hot water cylinder and it heats it up. And it's that hot water in contact with the metal that makes your hot water system, that makes your heating system work. The hot water should be at the bottom all the way for the top. It should be completely full. And when you get a new system or you get a plumber come and do some work, it'll end up being hot from the bottom to the top. However, after time, water can seep into your system. And what you might find is, and this is the way to test, put your hand, when your system's on, put your hand at the bottom and it'll be hot. You'll have a hot radiator. As you raise your hand up through the radiator, you might find it starts to get tepid or lukewarm and then maybe cold at the top. If that's happening with your radiators, you've got heat loss at the top because there's air in the top and water at the bottom. You need to get rid of that air at the top, replace it with water, and as you let the air out, the water will replace the air, and then you'll get hot water from the bottom to the top. Now, it's good practice if you're not used to doing this, to test your radiators while they're hot so you can find out where the cold and hot spots are, and then turn your boiler off. Turn it off for about an hour or so, let that hot water calm down. What you don't want to be doing is taking the valve out too far and then find that you're trying to replace the valve with boiling hot water and you're scalding your hands. So wait for the water to go cold before you bleed your radiators. In terms of tools, really simple tools. Get yourself a rag. A tea towel will do, just a normal old bog standard tea towel. You want to get yourself a radiator bleed key. We can get one of these just standard ones, just to fix in the release valve. You can pick these up for £1 or £2 at your hardware store. Depending on the age of the radiator, you might need a screwdriver. It's normally a flathead one. Again, depending on the age, you might find that you need one of these older valve keys with all different size valves on them. Probably only need these if you do this quite a lot. If you've got your own ones at home, try and get the right size bleed key. Or you can get these heavy duty ones. These are more sort of for the professional with different sizes on them. So if you're doing them yourself, you'll probably just need a single radiator key, a screwdriver and a trusty rag. You will need this. As we all know, air rises, so we're going to start off with a downstairs rad where I know there's no air in it, and I'll show you what you're looking for when your system is full up, because you don't want to try and keep bleeding a system that's got no air in it. Let me show you a full rad first. Okay, as you can see, this is a newer style radiator and it hasn't got a square bleed key. It has one that requires a screwdriver. So in this situation, you can take the end bits off if you like, but I'm not too worried about that. I tend to hold my tea towel or rag here, use my screwdriver and open up the valve. Now you can see straight away that the water's coming out there. So I know that's full up with water. There's no air. I turn it off, I tighten it up. Just wipe down your rad. Just wipe down, make sure nothing's on the outside of the valve going to drip. Now this is crucial that you tighten this up properly. If you don't, you'll get a drip. Now in my house, we've got old style radiators upstairs and new style radiators downstairs. So these are the old style and they've got different release valves. So the rads are completely different. They're thinner rads, and the old style release valves are just the square ones. Again, I'll just take my towel, I'll wrap it around the radiator. Now this is imperative. Ears, you have to listen. If it's in the air, you will hear it hissing out. Water's coming out of that. With a bit of air, the air has stopped, now it's just water. So I tighten it up again. Give it a wipe down, that one's bled. This is crucially important. When you turn this, if you turn it too many times, your release valve will come out and it's hard to get back in again. You may need a pair of pliers. If you know what you're doing, you can probably put this in, but you want to make sure you don't cross thread it. So when you're doing this, just crack it a quarter of a turn. That's enough. And then listen, when you're doing your bleeding your rad, you will hear the air coming out. When the air gets to a higher pitch, the water's near the top and you've got to get ready to turn it off. So you can't walk away from this. You've got to stand here, you've got to be ready. You can either keep your key in it or you can hold it, getting ready to put it back in. Okay, we've got another old rad here. Get the key ready, get the towel in position. Can you see that? The water came out straight away. The water's dribbling out. It's now spraying out, see? So you know there's no air in these radiators. You wipe down and you're okay. And the last type of radiator that you'll find in this house is a towel rail. These ones are slightly different in that they're vented at the very top. So you can see the vent is up here this time. This time we're going to need the screwdriver again. Let's just zoom you out a little bit. I surround the valve with a towel because I'm not doing huge turns, so the water's not going to flood out of here. It's only going to trickle. Then I use a screwdriver to make a little turn. Water's coming out straight away, you can see that. There's no air coming out, so these don't have any air to bleed. If there was, you would hear a hissing noise, and that would continue until the hiss was replaced with water, in which case you would see this, you just tighten it up again. Give it a little wipe down. There we are, how to bleed your radiators. I hope that's helped you in some way. In terms of money, you've got a little radiator key. Most people have got a screwdriver. If they haven't, you can go and buy one for £1 or £2. Everyone has a rag lying around, or a tea towel, you can use that. So we're talking about potentially a repair that doesn't cost you a penny, up to maybe £5 to get the equipment, and then you can bleed your rads yourself. In terms of making your radiators work better, just bleeding them should really help you and should save you lots of money. It saves you the cost of a plumber coming out if you've done it yourself, and with fuel prices going up, it's going to make your house a lot warmer, which means you may have your boiler on for less time, saving you money. Okay, thank you for joining me. It's something I don't often mention on the channel, but I do actually have something called a Buy Me a Coffee page. The link's in the header or in the description. If you think this video has saved you any money on a plumber call out or on your fuel bills, feel free to pop over there and buy me a beer or a coffee. Only costs a couple of quid. Shows your appreciation to the channel. Until the next video, see ya.